What's up everyone, Dimitri here. In this video, I'm gonna do a complete breakdown of Kobe Bryant's shooting form, from his feet to his hands, his elbow, set point, release, and more. I'm gonna show you all the pieces that made up Kobe's jumper. Alright, let's dive in. Alright, first, let's look at Kobe's footwork and stance. Now, this is on catch and shoots. The majority of the time, Kobe was pulling up or doing fadeaways, but when spotting up, Kobe started his shot bent at the waist with a forward lean. And as he raises the ball up to his set point, here, Kobe straightens himself out. He's got good balance here. Here again, on the catch, Kobe leans forward, and as he raises the ball up to his set point, he straightens out. As for his feet, he keeps them shoulder width apart, maybe slightly wider. And here are the two big keys. One, his feet are pointed diagonally to the left, and two, they're staggered, which means his right foot is further ahead than his left. Another way to say it is Kobe's right foot is closer to the basket than his left. Here's why this is important when shooting a basketball. As a right-handed shooter, pointing your feet diagonally left and putting your right foot a little ahead of your left, this puts your shooting shoulder forward, ahead of your left shoulder. You're essentially turning your body a little bit to the left so that your shooting shoulder is closer to and facing the basket. This creates a straight line from your right foot up through your hip, up to your shoulder and elbow and the ball. All this makes it easier to shoot the ball straight. Look at it from this angle. With everything in a straight line, facing the basket, all Kobe has to do is extend his elbow and flick his wrist, and that ball is going straight every time. It is easier to shoot straight when your shooting shoulder is more forward than your non-shooting shoulder, and this is easily accomplished by turning your feet away from your dominant side, and by putting your shooting foot ahead of your other foot. Both things that Kobe does here. As far as getting into his shot, Kobe used pretty much every footwork technique in the book. He used the 1-2 step, the hop, he shot flat-footed. It didn't matter. Kobe could adapt to whatever situation he found himself in and get a good shot off no matter what. Now, the cool thing is, no matter which footwork Kobe used, there was one constant with all his shots. Well, with all his pull-ups and turnarounds and fadeaways. Kobe always ended up in the same position before releasing the ball. He always ended up with his body facing slightly left, his shooting shoulder forward, ahead of his left shoulder, and his elbow straight and in line with the basket. It didn't matter which way Kobe's feet were facing when he began his shot. It didn't matter how twisted or contorted his body was. It didn't matter if he got bumped. Kobe would hang in the air until he was in this ideal shooting position, right here, and then he'd release. Alright, let's move on to how Kobe held the ball. As for his grip, Kobe kept the ball in his fingertips, elevated off his palm, as you can see here. He kept his shooting hand in the middle of the ball and right under it. And he kept his guide hand to the side of the ball. This hand placement is really important for shooting the ball accurately and with good arc, but I'll get into that more in a little bit. I also want to point out that Kobe kept his shooting hand spread wide, with his fingers spread wide too, and this helps you to be more accurate and consistent with your release. Moving on, let's look at how Kobe catches the ball and where his shot pocket is. Now, we all know the majority of Kobe's shots in his career came off the dribble, But when he did catch and shoot, here's how he prepared his hands. Kobe's hands are ready to shoot before he even catches the ball. Number 1, he's got the palm on his shooting hand facing the ball. Number 2, his guide hand is off to the side and facing towards the right. And number 3, his hands and fingers are spread wide. If we go back to this screenshot from a minute ago, shooting palm under the ball, guide hand palm facing to the right towards the ball, hands and fingers spread wide. Kobe's doing the work before he even catches the ball. He's getting his hands in the proper position so that when he catches the ball, he doesn't have to move his hands and try to find his grip. He's got it right away and he can just rise up and fire. So then after he catches the ball, Kobe, like most shooters, dips the ball to get momentum and then rises up and shoots. And then Kobe's shot pocket, which is where he holds the ball to begin his shot. It's in the middle of his body, slightly shaded to the right side. He holds the ball right under the 2 on his jersey. And then as he rises up to shoot, he brings the ball up and over to his set point. Which leads me right into set point. Your set point refers to that brief pause in your shot, right after you raise the ball up into the air and before you actually start to shoot the ball up and forward. I'll play it all the way through. Watch for the pause here. Kobe raises the ball, pause, and now he starts to shoot. Your form at your set point is extremely important, and I'll talk about that a little more as I show you what Kobe's set point looks like. But first, let's start with the location of Kobe's set point. So as you can see, Kobe's set point is pretty high. He's got the ball well above his head here. For comparison, here's Steph Curry's set point, much lower. It's at his forehead. Does the location of your set point matter? I don't think so. I think you can be a good shooter with a high or low set point. You just have to keep in mind, shooting with a high set point is going to be slower than if you have a low set point. The pro is a higher set point is harder to block. And that's a major reason Kobe was so good in the mid-range. His pull-up was hard to block because he held that ball so high. Alright, let's look at Kobe's form at his set point. And these things here are what's really important for shooting the ball at a high percentage. Let's focus on the right side first, Kobe's shooting side. I mentioned this earlier, but Kobe has his shooting hand directly under the ball here at his set point, and this is what you want. Having your shooting hand directly under the ball at your set point, which means the palm on your shooting hand is facing upwards, this is going to help you get good arc on your shot. Kobe's shooting elbow is also under the ball at his set point. This means his elbow is facing the basket. It's not sticking out to the right or tucked really far in to the left. Elbow in and facing the basket helps you to shoot straight. It is much easier to shoot straight when your elbow is facing your target. Here's a good look at it. Rise up, pause until the elbow is straight and facing the basket, fire. Now, because Kobe's set point is high above his head, that's naturally going to bring his elbow up. See how it's pointing upwards like this? Compared to someone like Steph, whose elbow is almost parallel with the floor. But to me, that doesn't matter at all. As long as the elbow is facing the basket and your shooting palm is facing the ceiling, it doesn't matter if the elbow is tilted upwards. And again, that's really just a byproduct of bringing the ball up above your head like this. Kobe still has these nice angles here. Not perfectly 90-90, but close. Last thing I want to point out with Kobe's set point, his shoulders. I mentioned earlier that Kobe's shooting shoulder is ahead of his left shoulder during his shot, but also notice how his shoulders are parallel here. As he brings the ball up from his shot pocket to his set point, watch how he raises both his shoulders up together, parallel with each other. One shoulder isn't dipping lower than the other, and this is ideal. From the set point, it's time to release the ball. Take a look at Kobe's guide hand first. Watch how it comes off the ball before he releases it. Kobe removes his left hand from the ball, and now he's free to shoot without any guide hand interference. His left thumb doesn't get in the way of his release at all. It doesn't influence the trajectory of the ball in any way. His guide hand is only there to control the ball as he brings it up from his shot pocket to his set point. And getting your guide hand out of the way when you release is going to help you be more accurate and more consistent. Now, when you go to shoot a basketball, you're not going to have perfect hand placement 100% of the time. Here's a shot where Kobe's fingers on his guide hand are wrapping around the ball and they're in front of the ball. Even so, Kobe still gets his guide hand out of the way in time for a smooth release. So that's Kobe's guide hand on his release. Let's look at his shooting hand next. On his release, Kobe's wrist snaps forward so his palm faces down, and his fingers are curled and pointed down. The other thing to note here is his fingers stay spread as he releases the ball. While holding the ball, his hand and fingers are spread, and as he releases the ball, his fingers stay spread. And also, his middle finger is the last to leave the ball. Last thing on Kobe's release, his shooting elbow. As he releases, he fully extends his arm and he has his elbow locked out. And then the most important thing, the height of his elbow on the release. The height of your shooting elbow on your release is a great indicator for how much arc you're going to get on your shot. The higher your shooting elbow finishes, the more arc you're going to get. The lower your elbow finishes, the less arc you're going to get. A good indicator is the level of your eyes. Getting your shooting elbow to finish at or above your eye level is going to give you ideal arc. If I draw a line here from Kobe's shooting elbow over towards his head, you'll see that his shooting elbow finishes well above his eyes, giving Kobe ideal arc on this shot. Oh yeah, and then real quick, as for his eyes, it looks like Kobe keeps his eyes on the basket throughout his entire shot. Alright, so I've shown you Kobe's stance and his footwork, how he grips the ball, his shot pocket, set point, and his release. Last thing, legs and timing. How Kobe uses his legs and when he releases the ball in relation to the use of his legs. Let me show you. So I'm going to split up Kobe's use of his legs into two parts, and really most good shooters do this. The first part is from shot pocket to set point. From the start of his shot, as he dips the ball and as he raises the ball up to his set point, Kobe bends his knees. Watch his legs here. He's not quite at his set point yet, but close. He is storing up power here. You can see he hasn't left the ground yet. He's still on his feet, his toes are on the ground. From here, from just before his set point through his release, Kobe extends his legs. Watch the legs. He is releasing that stored power and using it to shoot and get the distance he needs on his shot. And the timing of this, it's not perfect, but Kobe has his knees completely bent when the ball gets close to his set point. And then his legs finish extending and are fully straight right around when he releases the ball. This timing, knees bent at set point, legs fully extended upon release, this is what contributes to rhythm and having a smooth looking jump shot. And it's not all about looks, this is going to help you shoot more consistently too. Alright, his stance, his footwork, how he grips the ball, his shot pocket, set point, release, the timing of his legs. These are all the different pieces that make up the shooting form of one Kobe Bryant. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a thing or two. Let me know if there's any other players you want me to break down. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.